Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Brewing Business Show. This is a space dedicated to the craft beer industry and entrepreneurs who wants to learn more about mindset, health, wealth, business, and of course, beer. I'm your host, Pedro Meneses, and before we start, I just want to make sure you buckle up, crack open a cold one, and get ready to hear some life-changing information. Cheers. So welcome back everybody to episode 21 of the Brewing Business Show. If you've been following us for a while, you already know the rules. But this is your first time, be sure to check out the previous episodes and do me a favor and leave me a review on iTunes so you can help more people to find the show. And today, guys, I have the honor to have on the show the founders of Content on Draft. Content on Draft is a digital marketing firm with a craft beverage focus. They specialize in creating custom strategies for craft beverage companies that engage followers online and grow their customer base. Amy and Morgan are such a dynamic duo who works together to create the best strategy possible and then help you implement it. And today, they will give us a whole scoop about how your content strategies and marketing efforts play an important role in the growth and expansion of your brewery. So welcome to the show, girls. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having us, Pedro.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about marketing. That's exciting for me, you know?
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
Conversation.
Us too, we're excited.
I know, and you know it's gonna be a little bit different this time because now we have 3 people in the show, so it's gonna be a little bit of interruption probably, but just roll with it, guys. You know.
You can handle the dynamic duo part.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Read each other's
Anyway,
minds, you know.
what was that?
We have to read each other's minds a little. That's okay.
I know. You guys are a perfect match for all this. You know, you guys are rocking it on social media, and all the content you guys are posting out there is awesome. You know, I think you guys are doing a great job, and everybody watching this right now or listening in the future are definitely going to enjoy this show. But let's jump right in. You know, I always ask this to all my guests, you know, so the audience can get to know you a little bit better. So why don't talk a little bit about your background, how you guys end up together and founding the Content on Draft.
Sure. You want to start? I can start.
You can start.
All right. So Morgan and I actually knew each other back in college. Honestly, thinking back to college now makes me feel old. But we were also a dynamic duo back then. She was the newspaper editor, and I was the person who did layout. So we kind of started a working relationship back then. Morgan went out and started her marketing career. I went to London and did my master's degree in beer journalism. And so from my point of view, at least, I became super passionate about beer specifically. I learned that brewers were like the most awesome people to talk to, partially because they're super nice and inclusive, partially because they give you free beer when they're excited. But like those two things together work really well. So when I came home, we started working on a different project that was more Buffalo based and had to do with the Buffalo food scene. And we were like, let's help these people. Like, we noticed that we saw things that they were doing wrong on their social media. And we're like, okay, we really love this. We're really passionate about it. We kind of narrowed it down past food to just craft beverages. And we're like, these businesses are pouring their heart and soul into what they're doing. Let's freaking help them do better. So that's kind of how we started. If you want to talk a little bit about your...
Yeah. So everything Amy said, we definitely built that dynamic years ago, and we kind of lost touch a little bit and then came back together, and it was like, okay, we still work really well together. And I was doing a lot with marketing food and beverage, and I was noticing I was promoting all these companies, and then I would look at their social media and I'd be like, okay, wait, I have no idea, like, when they're open, what's on tap, like what's going on here? Like, and so then when we merged and kind of talked about what we wanted to do, we realized we were both passionate about craft beverage and marketing. So
Content on Draft was born.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, it was meant to be, you know, and it is great because it's hard to find good partners. You know, I've never been lucky enough to find a good business partner, but you guys have each other, and that's great. And that's probably why you guys are doing a great job, because, you know, you understand each other, you complement each other, and that definitely helps you build a stronger business, you know? So, I mean, it's awesome. It's now you guys are here helping the craft beer industry. You're right. The best part when you get that free beer for giving someone else and helping, right? Who's going to say no to free beer?
That's like getting my master's degree in another country, broke at the time, walking into a bar and be like, here, try this one. Here, try this one. Here, try this one. I'll try them all.
That's awesome. But anyway, guys, I know you guys focus a lot on social media and content marketing and like more you just mentioned, you know, when you were like years before, when you were going on social media and start trying to find out at what time the business were open, the services and all that kind of stuff, that kind of like start directing you to where you are right now with content on draft. Am I right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't start with the basic? Because, you know, I believe that content marketing and social media is one of the biggest struggles. Not only they craft their industry, but in several industries, you know, like it is easy, but you have some work that you have to understand. And there's some fundamental concepts that you need to understand for you to be successful and generate more customers and sales to your social media, right? So why don't start first to what is content marketing? So people can understand more about this wide concept that can get very confusing at some point.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think big picture, it's any sort of content you're producing.
What's content?
What's content? Well, content can be videos, photos, Instagram stories, print media when that was a thing. But right now, obviously, the focus is on digital. And I feel like content marketing has become more like conversations. Like it's not just posting what you're doing. It's like building that community online. And that's why you can't just do it and have no plan behind it.
I think I would also add, like, content marketing can be dangerous in a sense that if you, like, really anybody can post to Facebook. It's not difficult to post to Facebook. They make it super easy to post there. They make it easy to post to Instagram. Like, using social media is simple, but doing it well is really difficult. So a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like, we can do this for our company. We know, you know, how to type up a post, add a picture, and press send. But they don't always get how to do that as effectively as possible, how to start the conversations, how to get people to engage. And I mean, honestly, when you're doing all that, how to bring in money by doing it.
And I think
Absolutely.
there's a misconception that anyone who has a personal Facebook or is like under 21 or under 30 or whatever, I don't know which age it is now, like can run your social media. And like Amy said, anyone that knows how to post can post, but is it gonna get you more sales? No. Like you might get lucky, but you need a strategy. You just do.
Absolutely. And I think that's where the misconception comes, you know, because everybody says like, it's just easy just to make a post on social media or record a video or go live and do all that kind of stuff. That's okay when you're doing it for personal purposes, I believe. But when, like you were saying, when it comes for your business, you need to know the strategy, because the goal is to get in people, to get them to like your stuff, like follow you, and eventually give you money, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. But just reposting a picture, and I know we're going to talk this a little bit more here in a minute, but just reposting a picture, reposting a post, like just say hi or something like that is not enough, and it's not part of a strategy. And you, Morgan, you just mentioned something very important right now, that like when print media used to be a thing, right? And that's something that is another great misconception. I know you guys can, I want to hear your point of view on this, because a lot of people, when they hear marketing, right, it doesn't matter if it's content marketing, video marketing, once people or a business owner hears the word marketing, immediately they think about something that is very expensive, something that is hard, something that they cannot do on themselves. But I know you guys teach people how they can start at least with the basics on themselves. So tell us a little bit more about, or help me remove that bad belief that marketing is expensive, because it's not anymore. Now it's accessible for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think when you have the right tools and techniques and strategies, then, you know, you can do it. You might need some coaching. I would honestly, like, if you think about, let's relate it to brewing beer. You can read a lot of books on how to relate to brewing, or on how to brew beer, and it's probably going to get you a very good idea of how to do it, but you're going to want some feedback too. So there is a little bit of that, and that's kind of how you perfect your your trade. And so when it comes to marketing, it's very similar. You can do it with coaching and you can get all the tips. And we do a lot of style guide creation. So it's like this big meaty package that when you need to do X kind of post, you can open it, figure out how to do it, sort of thing, follow the steps to get what you need to get to track your data, all that kind of stuff. So definitely it's something you can do if you take the time to learn it. It's one of those things where it's either time or money. It's either, paying somebody else who spent the time to learn how to do it, or taking the time yourself to learn how to do it. So I don't think you necessarily need to go absolutely crazy and hire like the best firm out there. I think you can still get a very quality product in-house, but you need to know how to do that. You need to have the tools and techniques and strategies in order to do that in-house.
Totally. I totally agree with you on that, because, yeah, go ahead. What you were about to say something?
Oh, that was good. I was trying to think of something to add, but she really covered it there.
Yeah, no, you definitely nailed it. I mean, and it is true, and that's one of the objections that I find the most among business owners, like because they don't understand the concept. It doesn't mean that you can implement it in your business. But once you start understanding, you have to be open to understand and to listen to people like you guys, to people that have been in the show too, to what they have to say when it comes to marketing, when it comes to design, when it comes to advertisement, when it comes to different moving pieces that are part of a business. Because like you said, brewing great beer, yeah, that's a very important part. But what's the point of brewing your beer? Nobody's going to hear about your freaking beer.
You'll have a lot of beer to drink yourself.
It's kind of like, it's not quite if you brew it, they will come. It's like if you brew it and then you tell them about it and they actually know it's there, then they will come.
Absolutely. Yeah. And right now we're in very interesting times because like I have mentioned before, like all the digital marketing and social media have been shaping different industries for over a decade. I believe the craft beer industry is one of the latest industries being affected by all the social media stuff and digital marketing. So I believe right now during this craziness going on in the world, right? It was kind of like all those 10 years of other industries learning digital marketing was compressed in like 3 or 4 months for the craft beer industry.
Learn it immediately.
Yeah, so it's like you have to learn this shit. It's crazy. So I think it's a little bit overwhelming right now for the industry to try to understand the social media and all that stuff. But definitely times have changed, like billboards, like TV ads and all that kind of stuff. That shit doesn't work anymore, and it's just going to waste your money. But now it's important to understand why it's important, right? Tell us why it's important to have a strategy on your social media.
Because that's where your potential customers are hanging out. Like this pandemic is a perfect proving point of that. Like a lot of people have regulars, and when there's not a pandemic going on, they go. But right now, when everyone was home, they only went because of hearing stuff that was shared online. Like I have favorite breweries, but if I didn't know that they were open or not, or if they were doing to go, I wouldn't necessarily go there. Like I want to know what they're doing to keep people safe. So it's so relevant because it's the main source of communication for their target audiences.
And I would also say, so that's definitely why you need to be on social media, but kind of why you need to have the strategy for social media too is, so I bartended at a brewery for a while. That was my learning, my field work type of thing. And I between that personal hands-on experience and between talking to other, brewery, tap room, bottle shop owners, I've learned that a lot of them teach their bartenders how to interact with people when they come in. So they actually, whether they put that label on it or not, they have a strategy for what to do and what to say when people walk into a bar. So if you have a strategy for how to interact with people face to face, and there's a whole bunch of people to interact with online, you should also have a strategy for how to interact with the people when you meet them digitally instead of in your tasting room.
Absolutely. No, that's great. And, we were talking, is different now. And if you don't learn this right now, it's going to hurt your business. And even before the COVID, even before all this crazy going on, I'm a guy that I like to do a lot of research and I go a lot by the numbers, So before all this start happening, there was already like around 70% of the industry, well, 70% of the consumers, sorry. 70% of craft beer consumers are already searching online for breweries, for tap rooms, trying to see what's close to them, trying to see what's close to them in the next city and the next neighborhood, because it was traveling to go find new beers and all that kind of stuff. So eventually right now, everybody's will stick to their phones still, even that some states are opening and all that kind of stuff, but still people created a complete new habit. And now they're more on social media than ever before. So if they don't see you there, then you're not going to make more sales,
Yeah, you got to make it as easy as possible for someone to give you their money.
Wait, what did you say the other day? More searchable equals more sales.
Yeah, if it's more searchable, then you'll get the sales. If you have to do 80,000 clicks to find the information, or one person looks it up on Facebook, somebody else looks it up on Instagram, and you're seeing two different things, you're not going to make the sales. They're going to get confused. They're going to go to your neighbor. There's a lot of worry.
I like that. What was the phrase again? If you're not searchable,
then you're not going to make sales.
I like that. Can you expand a little bit more on that? Because I think that's a very, very important topic right now, because especially that now everybody is on social media, right? Including businesses, right? I remember that 4 or 5 years ago, we were exposed to like 4,000 pieces of advertisement. Last time I hear, we're like 30,000 pieces of advertisement daily. So it's hard for people to remember you, So,
no big deal.
Only 30,000 pieces of advertisement. So that's what I love what you just said. Like, if you're not searchable, what was that again?
You need to be more searchable so you can get more sales.
Absolutely. So put it in easy terms. Explain to the audience what will be being more searchable.
I just wrote the blog about this. I literally just posted a blog about this, so it's like on my mind right now. But basically, if somebody is like, what do I want to do today? They might search craft brewery. Maybe they're like, I want to go to a brewery, not really sure who's open, not really sure what's going on, let's see. So they're going to search craft brewery. You want your information, so this is like an SEO thing, you want your information to come up first so that they see you first, so you're the first thing that they click. Now, I might do that in Facebook too. They might search craft beer in Facebook. People have different ways of doing it. But you want your very important information to be the first thing that people see. So right now, that means COVID updates. Even if something hasn't quite changed, you still want to have a COVID update because it'll pop up in people's news feeds on Facebook. It'll pop up in their feeds on Instagram. But you also want to utilize different features like pinning posts on Facebook and doing highlights on Instagram so that when people go to your profile, the first thing that they see is the stuff that is going to allow them to visit you and buy from you. We talk a lot about relationships and building relationships with people. And relationships can lead to sales, and relationships make people search you first, those sort of things. But if you do not have the information that people need to actually make the purchase from you, then the relationship doesn't matter. They can't make the purchase. They don't know when you're open. They don't know what your COVID procedures are. They don't know if you still deliver. They might not be comfortable to actually walk in. They might just want to grab beer to go or curbside, or if places are still doing delivery. So people need to know that information in order to give you their money. So the easier it is for them to search for that information, the less steps that they have to take. Imagine if you're looking for something and you have to click on like 10 different links to get a simple piece of information. You're probably not even going to get to that 10th link. You're probably going to stop somewhere around link maybe 4 or 5. If you're feeling real tenacious, you might go a little bit further. But even 4 is a lot, whatever. But the point is, you want to make it easy for people to find the information so they can give you their money.
Yeah, go ahead.
Speak to what Amy said about, I think, like, people who have the information out there about their procedures and they've been following them, like you don't want to stop updating them, like Amy said, and you want to keep that like highlight or pin post fresh, because you may have been open for a while, but maybe my friend Sarah hasn't been anywhere yet. And this is her first experience going out somewhere. She's going to be just as uncomfortable as I was 3 months ago. Like, you can't assume that everyone knows what your procedures are at any point in time now, because everything's changing constantly and everyone's comfort levels are different.
You know, I'm very glad that you guys mentioned that, because when we were talking about how many pieces of advertising we are exposed on a daily basis, guys, this is the reason why. What they saying right now is the reason why you want to keep everything simple. You know, like we are so overwhelmed by everything that we see on social media that if you have your process complicated, I mean, that's the reason why a lot of people is not probably buying. They're interested in your product, but you make that shit so complicated. It's like, whatever, you know, I'm going to find something else instead, you know, because it's true. I mean, there's consumers behavior, and everybody who is a business owner needs to be aware how consumers are behaving and what they need and what are their needs, you know. Like, you just remind me right now, one of the concepts that one of my mentors teach that is called the attractive character. And I know you guys understand this, and I want your opinion on this, but let me explain. So the attractive character, like, puts in our mind, you know, as a business owners, as entrepreneurs, right? Our social media profiles are not for entertainment anymore, you know? Like, your social media profile or your fan page, it is like your business card. It's your first handshake with your customers. So like you were saying, if you don't have a pin post at your fan page saying where you are following all the COVID rules so you can keep everybody safe and protect everybody, right? Things like that, when people land on your fan page or your personal page, you know, the first impression that they get from that first profile picture, the cover picture, whatever first post you have there, is going to have a huge impact in how you're going to convert them into buying customers, right? So tell us a little bit more about that, because I think that is something that brewers needs to understand, like how important it is to have every single piece of content on your profile set up correctly so people can be attracted to you.
I got an answer. You got an answer?
Go for it.
I love talking. Okay. So,
I was like, she has an answer. I can sense it.
I really love talking. So Morgan and I, again, we're going to go back to how much we focus on building relationships and stuff like that. But the thing is, the building relationships isn't fluffy. It's not like, oh, I love people, so I'm going to get to know them. And this person seems nice, so I want to get to know her. And maybe she'll buy some stuff from me. It's very strategic. So building relationships gets people connected to you, and that connection will make them more likely to buy. So that when you do put up that post that says, you know, come down and get this new beer, it's great for these reasons, they're like, wow, I really love that company and they're selling this new beer, so I'm going to try it out. This is going to be awesome. So it really is kind of like you're saying, every piece has to be strategic. I remember talking to a brewery who I will not name. They did say this publicly, but I will not name them. It was at a conference, and they talked about how before they got like a specific marketing person, they had a bunch of people who had access to their Instagram profile. And it was utter chaos. And because not everybody was on the same page with the plan, somebody decided it would be really funny to post, I believe it was a bowl of jiggling mayonnaise, like a slow-mo jiggle mayonnaise. You weren't at this conference. I'm not even going to say what conference it is, just in case it gets back to me. But
That's funny.
they posted a bowl of jiggling mayonnaise, and they lost so many stinking followers from that mayonnaise bowl because people are like, what is going on? Like, I did not follow this page to get mayonnaise. A very extreme example.
Right.
The point is, mayonnaise was not strategic. There are going to be, if you're not thinking about what you're posting and planning your posts and doing it in a get connections, you know, you can have fun while making the connections, but all of those things are going to lead to, if one person only saw this one post, if their friend just said, hey, cool, look at this, what would they think about your brewery?
Right.
Would they feel connected to you? Would it be something that would sell something? What purpose is it serving? So posting with the purpose.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Morgan, something to add?
I'm still thinking about the mayonnaise bowl now.
It's a brewery I super respect and look up to. And I was like, oh my goodness, look how far you've come from mayonnaise to where you are now.
To be honest with you, I'm going to have that image in my mind all day that freaking, oh my God. That's hilarious. No, but you're completely right. And one of the things I always encourage people is that, yeah, you can have your fan page, but you can also leverage your personal profile. Like, for example, if I go right now to your profile, I land in your profile, I see your picture. I know there's a cover picture that tells me exactly who you are and what do you do. And you have a small description exactly telling me what you do. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is like your business card. And same, like how much you encourage the breweries that you guys work with to also leverage their personal profile. I think is huge, because the same connection that they can have on their tap room, when somebody walks in and they go to their table and talk to them and all that kind of stuff. Right now, it's basically impossible, right? You can still do the same to your personal profile. So how do you guys encourage your clients to also leverage the personal profile?
So actually a really great example of that is, I am going to call them out because they're doing a really good job. It's someone in our group, Customers on Draft. She works at Funky Picnic. We spotlighted and featured them because they started doing more videos where their brewer is speaking. So he's like, I don't know him. It's an out of state brewery for me, but I feel connected and invested. And he's talking about Black is Beautiful and that release and what it means to their brewery. Like, you know what I did? Like, I didn't go to this brewery, but the next day I went and I was like, where can I get this locally? Like, Black is Beautiful. And it's like, even though I didn't do it with that brewery, it's that powerful that I was like, I need to find this locally. And getting that face, getting that recognition, building those relationships online. And like, that he probably shares, like, people when they're spotlighted, they share it with their friends and it just, everyone's like excited that someone's featured.
Right.
Like, another example is my friend's dogs were in a client photo shoot recently, and she was so excited about it. And like, her entire family is sharing this article because they're connected to these dogs. Right. And this blog is going to perform better than another blog because of dogs. Like, and it's because people have a relationship with these dogs. And like, you need to use those relationships to your advantage because other people are.
Absolutely.
And like, taking that a little bit, I don't know if this would be even a little bit more digitally, but a little bit more like onto your personal page. If you own a brewery, if you manage a brewery, if you are a social media manager for a brewery, any connection, you can be then an ambassador for the brewery. So just like you're an ambassador in person, when you share things about the brewery that you work at, or you are commenting on their posts or anything, those types of touch points are going to, again, help with the personal connection. So like, just like the dogs, just like the brewer who, was on the video, shares the video, you're advocating for your brewery very similar to how you're advocating for them when you're in person.
And the cool part is when you do that, it doesn't feel like someone's selling you something. Like, it just feels genuine. You are invested. It's a meaningful connection. They are selling you something, whether you know it or not. Like, I made the connection, but like, not every person that shows up at a dog patio is going to make the connection that was why, but like, the connection's there, but it's not in your face, obnoxious, buy this beer now sales. Like, it's subtle and it's effective.
It's not
absolutely.
There are 300,000 touch points that you end up tuning out.
No, but I mean, that's I'm great that you mentioned this, because you guys also just mentioned sales too, and I know that there's a lot of people in this industry. They're like, oh, we don't want to sell our product or like bother people we're selling, but you don't have to be that salesy. Like you have, like you just said, you can build a relationship with your audience, with your customers and all that stuff. Just because they're not on your tap room right now, but they're online, you can still build those relationships with them online, and then create that familiarity with them, because remember, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So if people don't like you, people don't know you, people don't trust you, guess what? You're not going to sell. So you don't have to get all salesy to do this, but you can be nice and build your relationships and create that image so you can stuck in people's mind and people can remember you, and then you're going to start seeing your business flourishing,
Yeah. I like to say, like, what you're thinking of, like, I don't want to be salesy. It's, you don't want to be pushy. You can sell things without being pushy, and people might like you even more because you're doing it that way.
Absolutely. There's ways, especially right now. I know you guys are, and listen, I know a lot of people right now be thinking like, but I don't know all of this shit. You don't have to know all this. This is why there's people like them, people like me here, so we can explain you, like live the hard part to us, but understand the basic, so you can be successful online, because right now this is the opportunity everybody has in their hands. You can be successful online right now. It doesn't matter if it's craft beer, if it's real estate, if it's mortgage, if it's contractor. It doesn't matter what industry you are right now. You can be successful if you just follow this basic stuff, and you do the right things for your social media and listen to people like them that are doing the right things for the craft beer industry and other craft beverage industries too, So I believe that's very, very important. Now, I know, like, I want to talk about this. Let's talk about some of the most common mistakes you guys have seen so far. That's going to be the fun part, because we can laugh, we're not trying to please anybody, but, we need to point these out so we can change it and make it better, right? So let's talk about the most common mistakes you guys seen.
So we actually did a presentation. We were supposed to do it at the New York State Craft Brewers Conference, but that was canceled along with the rest of 2020. But we did it online, and the presentation was about the 7 mistakes breweries are making.
So we got you on this one.
This is our favorite topic.
Also, I mean, if you bring it back a couple more years, a little bit, this topic is also the reasons why we're doing what we're doing, because we saw the mistakes and we're like, we can help you.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah. Now I'm trying to remember the mistakes.
Yeah.
I
can take it off.
Okay.
So our first one, which is one of my favorite ones because it's one that I never thought I would be talking about as much, is photos. People can make some huge mistakes when it comes to their photos. And the analogy that I absolutely love using, and if you've watched my stuff, you've probably heard me use thousands of times, but your photos are like neon lights that point to your post. Your photos grab people's attention and are like, look at me, I'm cool. Look at me, I'm tasty. Whatever.
Or look at me, I'm a bowl of mayonnaise.
Or look at me, I'm a on the other side. So maybe we'll go to visuals instead of just photos. So having good photos. So the biggest thing that makes us cringe is photos that have really poor lighting, or like our super backlit. Photos that there's a half drunk beer, but nobody's holding it. Like if I'm holding a beer and you take a picture, like it's okay, I'm drinking it. There's a human obviously drinking the beer. But if you're like, here's my beer, but half of it's gone, you're like, well, I would love to drink that, but where's the other half? Right. So like those types of photos, or when people are getting a little fancy with their portrait mode, but half the glass is gone, like disappearing glass. So if it's tulip glass, it's floating glass. Those types of photos are not as attractive as they could be, to put it nicely. People are not, I'm not going to see a picture of a half drunk beer in, like, even if the lacing's amazing, I'm not going to be like, oh, I want that. I'm going to be like, probably not even stop long enough to think next. I'm just going to keep scrolling.
Yeah.
So,
well, and even like, and it's not just people like us who are in the industry. Like I've had this conversation with my friends who are craft beer enthusiasts. Wow. Craft beer enthusiasts. And they like this, I was like, it was a very proud friend moment for me. She was like, where's the head on the beer? And I was like, what do you mean, Dylan? What do you mean? And she's like, whenever we go to a brewery, we wait for you to take the picture with the beer with the head before we drink it. And I was like,
right.
And so she's like, now I look at that. Like, she's like, I judge, like, if they have good beer photos, like, I'm going there. And it's like, I know that there are more Dylans out there. There are more people that look for those good quality photos because we live in an Instagrammable world where everyone wants to be at the cool new place.
Exactly. We're living in this visual world now, you know?
Yeah.
So, no, and I totally agree with you on that. What you were about to say?
Oh no, we were gonna go try. We literally have a list of 7. We boiled it down. It started off as like 14, but we kept grouping them until we got a manageable number. So we could go on all day. You'll have to cut us off.
But you already talked about 2. Let's talk about the other 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people underestimating the power of data. So
wow,
this
that's a big one.
Yeah. So actually just talked about it in our group today because there's social media analytics for everything by now. Like, and some people still aren't using them. And people want to know, like, where am I missing the mark? And it's like, you are continuing to post the same type of photos, the same type of captions, the same hashtags, and you're expecting a different result. Like,
exactly.
That you have to test. You have to, like, look at the different elements. And, like, we even break it down to, you know, like, the types of photos. So, like, we could analyze whether your profile does better with someone holding a beer or a beer alone, a flight picture, someone like laughing and holding a beer, patio vibes in the backgrounds. Like, we can figure out what your audience wants, and it's going to depend on your audience because everyone's audience is different. Yeah. But if you're not somehow tracking that, you're never going to know what is the most effective way to reach your people.
Which what you just mentioned is very important. I don't want to talk about what I just about to say because we've been talking about this for. If you guys watching want to learn more about how to create the perfect customer or how to attract the perfect customer, go check the previous episodes because I think that's the foundation of this. Like that's going to answer the question of like, so what do I post? Who's your perfect customer, right? And you mentioned also something very important about your friends asking you about where was the beer, you know? It is the consistency that you have to stick to one idea or one image of what you want to represent. It's like, for example, if I shave my beard right now, nobody will recognize me, you know?
No.
like in my circle, in my closest circle, in my network, everybody is like, oh, the bearded guy with the accent. That's how everybody knows me, you know? So if I shave it, nobody's going to recognize me. So the same thing, if you have this pattern of pictures or content that you're creating, but then you eventually you just disrupt it next week, nobody's going to recognize you, you know? So I'm glad that you guys mentioned that. So what's the next one?
All right. So the next one is going to be posting at the last minute or not posting at all. And this one is near and dear to my heart because I'm a procrastinator, like a lot. And I am traditionally disorganized. Yeah. I don't want to say I'm disorganized anymore because my level has gone from like here to like here probably since knowing her and like working with her, because everything is listed out, everything is planned out, and everything is planned ahead. And so I can talk about this because I personally have saved so much time. I don't know. I would think like, oh, like I went to school for journalism. I can work on a deadline. I work really well under pressure. This is fine. And even though I thought I worked really well under pressure, as soon as I took that pressure off and started planning, you know, it started off with planning a couple days ahead and then a week ahead and then a couple weeks ahead. My posts firstly took me less time to do. I could kind of do them in a group, keep my brain power on them. So they would take me less time. I would be able to actually plan and optimize the post. So like plan out, like Morgan was saying, the best hashtags, plan out the best time to post it, really get that caption down, get the picture good, like all of that kind of stuff. I would have that ability. And so the posts would be significantly more effective, and effective meaning engagement and leading to sales. So planning ahead like it saves you time, but makes you money.
Yeah.
So like it saves you time and it makes you
Absolutely.
money.
If you don't like to make money and save time, like just plan.
Yeah, that's the strategy thing.
Right.
So and then like the posting not at all is like we've had people who have been like, yeah, we like did really good posting for a couple of days, but we just haven't done it in a week. But then we did a couple more days, and then we just waited like 3 more. Like posting consistently is huge, especially now, because if you don't do it, people will think you're closed and out of business, and you don't want people to think you're closed and out of business.
That is very true. Go ahead.
One thing to add too is I think there's also like a misconception that planning ahead means like that planning ahead isn't relevant right now. And I disagree with that because you can plan ahead and still adjust. Like you can, if you have a caption written about being open and then all of a sudden like there's these new rules, you switch up the caption, but your picture's there. Like, you know, you can have a plan and adjust it, but it will take the stress out of those little updates because you have like an overall strategy. And like having the big plan, like the big like social media style guide will tell you, you know, like what you need to do to adjust that and what you can like continue to post. Like you don't post about COVID every single day. Like you still need to talk about your beer and you still need to talk about your brewers and you need to have a diverse feed there, but you can adjust it. Just because it's planned ahead doesn't mean it can't change, and it still will save you time.
I totally agree with you. You know, I take one day a week, usually Saturday in the morning or Sunday in the morning. I plan all my weekly content. You know, I write my blog posts, I write my long posts. I do, if there's a video that I have to do on that day, at least I write the topic, the name of the video, and then I know that I'm going to take a couple minutes during the week or the day I plan to do the video to do it that day. But I plan ahead. And yeah, you're right. It saves you a lot of time, and you can always change it if something happens, you know? And that is something that if you, the people watching or listening, if you're doing it on your own or you have someone in-house doing it, it's something that they can do as well. You know, you can have a weekly planning on your content, you know, like, okay, what we're going to focus today, what kind of offers we're going to have today, you know, like what events we're going to have, let's plan ahead. Because that's the thing, and you mentioned something very important. If you don't post constantly, it's not about, posting consistently is not about just being there and knowing people about your post. What happened is that if you post more, right? Facebook is in your favor if people is engaging with your content. So it's going to be showing your content to more people. And that's how you break through. Remember those 30,000 pieces of advertising we were talking? That's how you break to that noise. But if you're not consistent in engaging with people, Facebook doesn't show your stuff to other people. And that's why you get frustrated, by the way. You know, it's just, so what's the next one?
Next one is not posting platform-specific content.
Oh,
That's a good one. Yeah.
When I click like
personal pet peeve.
Like when we see you have this awesome picture on Instagram with your hashtags, you tagged some people, you tagged a location, and then they share it directly to Facebook without changing anything. So now on Facebook, there's @ mention signs that don't go anywhere. There's hashtags that aren't, people do 30 hashtags on Facebook, but it's not a good
doing
thing.
it wrong.
Right.
Yeah. So like, and they don't work in the same way that they do with Instagram. Like Instagram, you're hashtagging to make your posts appear higher on people's feeds, and because people follow hashtags like hashtag craft beer, hashtag think New York, drink New York. But on Facebook, they don't do that. So it just looks like you're taking shortcuts. And the same applies the other way around. If you share your post on Facebook with a link, and then you're going to put that on Instagram the same exact way, copy paste, you can't click on the link in Instagram. Like you need to either put it in your bio, or you need to set up Linktree, set up later, set up
We love link in bio,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's our
We
favorite.
really
I was
love
like,
link in
I was like,
bio.
that's one I like. But like, set up some sort of way to actually get people linked. It's not, no one is going to type out your address that you put in your caption. They're just not.
Yeah, and I like the link in bio too. The reason why, because when people see it, they go to your to your profile. That gives you more engagement too. So little secret, guys, like little tips that you don't see, but it is important. That's a great one. And how many we have covered? 5, no?
This will be the 5th one.
Okay, what's the 5th one?
Is lacking. I pulled up my list, by the way, so we didn't miss any. So we keep looking down. Lacking meaningful engagement with followers. So you were kind of talking algorithm. One of the best ways to use the algorithm to your advantage is by boosting your engagement. Boosting your engagement is likes, comments, shares. On Facebook, likes are great, loves are better. Morgan and I love each other's everything. And it's not because we love each other like we do, but like that's not why. It's because we know that the heart is going to get counted more than the thumbs up.
Exactly.
And a comment is way better than all of that. Facebook's obsessed with conversations. So when people are commenting, that's going to really count as the engagement. And when people are sharing it, that's really going to help your reach. So a great way to kind of use that algorithm to your advantage is to get your people to like and comment and share. You can kind of make a game out of it and give your top fans rewards or something like that. I actually had a discussion with a brewery manager about different ways to recognize the top fans in order to encourage it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's like a big thing is that we see sometimes is that brewery puts up a post, somebody comments on the post, nothing else happens for days. Like nothing else happens. Or the brewery just puts cheers. Yeah. Cheers is not a conversation starter. The best thing to do when someone is, like or love their comment and then reply to it in a way, if you can, if it's natural, reply to it in a way that gets them to reply again. And then you keep it going.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think too, you're speaking to engagement encourages engagement. Like if you're never engaging with other people, how do you expect them to engage with you? Like why aren't we getting any comments on this? Do you guys ever respond to the comments? Do you comment on other people's things? Like, are you active? Like, do you respond in a timely manner? Like, it's not going to just magically happen. You have to sometimes ask for it and reciprocate it.
Absolutely. Just to add a little bit to that, I believe that is one of the easiest things brewers can do. I think creating content or writing a post, it is very easy because this industry is very interactive, So it's like you said, it's not only about posting cheers. No, you have to get some kind of copywriting skills too, like write enticing content that can get people to like it more or to read more, because when somebody clicks on that see more, that's engagement too. And Facebook see it as an engagement, right? And if you create something so there's a thing that is called the edge rank, right? So when you post something, you have 60 seconds to make that comment, that post get engagement. Every time somebody likes, comment, Facebook add another 60 seconds to that clock. So if you're just posting a picture, say cheers, guess what? Nobody's gonna like it. Nobody's gonna comment. Facebook's gonna put it all the way down in the newsfeed. So that is very important to, like you were saying, not only post cheers, like create something that can get people to ask them a question, right? Like ask them what's their favorite beer, and whoever answers the right question for some kind of special that you have or the release that you have for next month, whatever, make that's great. That's great ways to get people to engage with your content, and they're gonna keep seeing more and more and more. So that's a very powerful one. Thank you, guys. And then we have 2 more, right?
Rapid fire. So only posting still content. So we've talked a lot about video and captions here. We've talked a lot about photos and captions here, but video is super important too. What we're doing now, like getting people want to feel that connection, and video is one of the best ways to do that. And we were actually in a conference last week where this amazing speaker was talking all about video, and she was like, your face, like faces sell, like they do. And people like value knowing you because that's the best marketing tool. And a lot of breweries aren't taking advantage of those features. And I think there's a reason for that is a lot of people think video, I gotta like get an expensive camera. I need to spend hours editing it, making it perfect, adding all this stuff. Yeah. Phone. If you have a phone with a good camera, you can post video.
Yeah.
Like, and don't post video just to do it. Like, still have a purpose, but it doesn't have to be this like extremely extremely like
Expensive?
yes, extremely
Time-consuming?
expensive, put together, crazy, perfect thing. Like, be a little imperfect, be human. People will like you for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're completely right. I have noticed how much raw video converts more than something super fancy and super elaborated at some point, you know. You guys are completely right. And now let's go to the last one.
Last one. We'll go fast. It's not keeping up with the latest tips, trends, tools. So there are some people who are just figuring out hashtags and aren't even using stories yet. Some people who are using stories but not using highlights. Facebook even has different stories, and they have different stickers that you can use on your stories too. So it's one of those things that you realize you learn about social media, but your education has to be continuing, or else you're going to get left in the dust.
And another, like, I think a big one that is helpful right now is like shoppable posts.
Oh gosh, yes.
Because I remember having a conversation with a distillery actually, and they're like, we want more merch sales. And I'm like, okay, do you have a Facebook shop? No. Oh, okay. So like, let's do that. Like,
let's start.
like how are you gonna sell it when your distillery is not open, if it's not easily accessible online? And so like keeping up with setting that up and then incorporating that into your posts and your stories, like people love to purchase on Instagram. They do. Like, and like you can't purchase pints of beer on Instagram, but you can purchase hats, merch, like shirts, all that stuff. Like, it is a moneymaker.
Yeah, well, now you can basically buy beer online too. So
Hopefully forever.
hopefully, yes. No, you're right.
On Instagram though.
You cannot buy what?
You can't buy pints on Instagram though.
Dang
Not
it,
yet.
but probably soon.
Hopefully
You know,
soon.
yeah, it's gonna change. You know, eventually it's gonna change.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Those are great points. You know, I believe, fundamental things that people can change right now. You know, like it's just a matter of start paying attention. And listen, guys, this is not complicated. You don't have to learn all the ins and outs of how to do your marketing and how to do your content and all that stuff. But very basic concept that they just share with us here today. You know, like don't just like take a nice picture. Even with your phone, you can take a nice picture of your beer. You know, like you can buy a $10 tripod for your phone on Amazon and get better pictures too. You know, like it's not that complicated. Like you can elaborate everything for your content and your social media platforms so you can attract more people. And just put a little bit more of dedication, you know, the same way you dedicate all the energy to brewing your best beer ever, dedicate the same energy to your content so people can come and enjoy your beer, you know?
So people even know that you got it.
Exactly. But, well, we've been here almost for an hour, guys. I think this has been amazing. You guys have been sharing a lot of great content. I know, because, you know, it's been entertaining and you guys are crushing it and giving really, really valuable information here at all that it has to be related to marketing. But before we wrap this up, let's say that I'm a brewery owner, okay? I think this will be the last question. I'm the brewery owner. I don't know what to do with my social media. I have no freaking clue what to do, right? And due to the current circumstances, whatever thing is going to hell, right? I don't know if I have the budget to invest in someone that can manage my marketing and all that stuff. What would be the most basic steps you can recommend to somebody and tell you, listen, if you want to start getting more engagement, I would recommend you can start with this and you're going to see results. Is basic stuff, basic, like nothing complicated, nothing about collecting data or like this angle, take the picture like this and nah, like, like none of that. Just something basic that people can start utilizing right now and start seeing how their content start growing.
I got it. So I am going to say eventually you're going to want to invest in a solid strategy to really get the most out of it. But step one, focus on photos that you think would grab your attention. Focus on captions that would grab your attention. Look at what other, we call them benchmark brands. So what other breweries who are kind of a little bit above your level and a lot of bit above your level are doing. See what they're doing right and kind of like take the ideas. Don't like actually copy the exact post, but like
Be inspired by them.
take the ideas and then get your family, friends, bartenders, brothers, girlfriends, aunt to start commenting and sharing your posts. The people who love and support you to love and support you in that way to help get you off the ground.
And I would say that plus just talk to an expert. I think there is again, another misconception that all the time marketers want to sell. I don't want to sell you something that's not going to help you.
So true.
Exactly.
Grow. And that's just not who I am. And we have a group, Customers on Draft, where we share information and other people share information. And it's a community of helping other marketers or other people who are doing marketing for craft breweries. And you can ask us questions. I'm not going to do it for you, but I can give you advice, and we genuinely have a vested interest in making this community better, not helping it survive, but helping it thrive. And just ask a question, and maybe we can direct you to where you need to find the information.
And I would even say, Pedro, you seem like the kind of guy who would answer questions if somebody asked you to. So I feel like it's not just us. There's a lot of people who are in marketing roles who are just so stinking passionate about the industry that we're happy to, take a couple of minutes and give you an answer.
You're absolutely right. Most of the things that I've been doing so far during this craziness, I've been not charging for a lot of stuff, because I just want to help others. And like you said, we're here to help. Like Morgan just mentioned, you can ask me a question and I can answer that for you, and I can guide you and point you to the right direction, right? If you wanted to do, if you want me to do it for you, then it's gonna have to be an exchange of value, Mm-hmm. One of my mentors always said, he have different programs, right? And there's people that pay him $25,000 a year to get coached by him, right? And the reason why he charges that is because it's not because he wants their money. Is because if there's no value exchange, you don't appreciate what you're going to learn. You don't put the dedication that you need to learn for your business in order to grow and be successful. So I think that's why for the past couple of weeks, you guys, Kodo, Foolproof Media, and other guys that have been here in the show so far are people that are also interested in helping the craft beer industry, especially during this season, because here's the thing, and I've been saying this a lot, if the craft beer industry doesn't grasp right now, everything that has to do with social media, selling beer online, having a whole system, an online menu, collecting people's information, which by the way, there's nothing wrong with collecting people's information, guys, for you guys listening. It is the most valuable asset you can have in your business right now. And if you don't take control of this, or you don't reach out to people like Morgan and Amy and other people around in the industry to learn how you can grow your business online, it's going to hurt you. And that's the reality, if you don't take in the time to grow your business and put the suit of an entrepreneur and a business owner that you are, it's going to hurt you. And it's not somebody else's fault. It's not the COVID fault. It is your fault because you didn't put the time and the dedication and the money, if you have to grow your business. and make your business thrive during this season. There's a lot of people thriving right now. There's a lot of people making shit lot of money. Why? Because they're being dedicated and putting the time and effort and money to make it happen, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are people out there who are growing right now, who are adding employees, and they're literally breweries. So it can happen. It's a thing. It's not,
exactly.
It's how they're dealing with their circumstances. They're not taking no for an answer almost. They're not.
Yeah,
quitting.
that's true. In marketing, you know, what was that?
Pivot. They're like adapting and changing their strategy and what they're doing, and it's working.
Can't do it in person, do it online.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And you know, at the end of the day, marketing and all that stuff, everything that we've been talking here in this show, not only these episodes, but during all this time that I've been doing this show, it is an investment, you know, like if you change your mindset, like don't stop looking at marketing and running ads or building a campaign as a waste of money, because it is not. You know, this should give you a return on investment. When you put that in your mind, then you're going to see results and you're going to appreciate how a marketing strategy, a content creation strategy, a social media strategy, going to change everything in your business. So thank you guys for sharing all that today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Pedro.
Yeah, so before we leave, two more things. First, where people can find you. And second, what will be the last piece of advice you guys would like to share with the audience before we wrap this up? So
I'll do the where people can find us. You can find us on Facebook at Content on Draft. You can find us on Instagram at Content on Draft. You can reach out to us personally, Morgan Culhane and Amy Brooks. On Facebook is probably going to be easier than on Instagram. And our website is contentondraft.com.
And we have a group, Customers on Draft, where we kind of talked about that a little bit, where we are always sharing information, and it's free. So,
and our final piece of advice, I would say, see what people are doing really well and see how you can implement it yourself. Ask somebody or stalk people shamelessly.
And do it, take imperfect action.
Love it.
Yeah. That's a good one
for me, but it's true. So do it.
Yeah, I've been there, you know, and that's one of my favorite things now. Now that every time that I start to do something, taking imperfect action has become one of my favorite things to do. Like if I gotta fuck this up, great, you know, who cares? No, it's true.
Car that's not moving.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. No, but thank you guys. I think that was a great advice. And like you said, look what others are doing and look in other industries too, you know, like success leaves clues. And any other industry out there, if you do your research, you will see that everybody else have learned from different industries. And I think the craft beer industry is the point in time that they start looking somebody else's is doing in different industries, guys. So that's going to be very important for whatever is coming next after all this pandemic, you know?
No idea.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, hopefully, because I'm tired of all this. But anyway, thank you guys for being here in the show and taking the time to share all this valuable information. And for you guys listening, if you enjoy the show, make sure you share it with somebody, put it on social media, send it a DM, a text message, email, whatever you can do to help us spread the word. And also, make sure you leave us a review on iTunes or subscribe to the YouTube channel so more people can find the show and get access to all this valuable information. And lastly, if you're ready to grow your sales and take your brewery to the next level, make sure to head to onlinemenu.marketingbrewingco.com and watch the free video on how you can sell more beer online. I will see you guys for the next episode. In the meantime, be safe, keep working hard, and cheers. Later. Hey guys, thank you for watching. This show was brought to you by the Marketing Brewing Company, an industry-leading marketing provider and coaching firm. If this episode have provided you with valuable information for you and your business, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this, share it with them. Send me a text message, a DM, put it on social media, whatever you can do to spread the word. And lastly, if you're a brewery owner ready to take your business to the next level, make sure you head to marketingbrewingco.com and fill out the form to get started and get your free assessment of your current marketing and sales strategies. I will see you guys for the next episode. In the meantime, cheers.